Have you ever felt that certain days carry a weight you cannot name? A presence that presses against the edges of your awareness and whispers that something extraordinary is unfolding. November 4th is one of those days. A threshold moment when the invisible becomes insistent, when the spiritual realm leans close and asks, "Are you paying attention?" This is not superstition or empty mysticism. It is an invitation to recognize that time itself can become sacred, that certain moments are charged with purpose and potential, and that your response to this call may shape the trajectory of everything that follows. If you are here, reading these words, feeling the quiet tug of resonance in your chest, it is no accident. You are being positioned for something deeper, something that demands more than casual participation. The question is not whether this day matters, it does, but whether you will meet it with the awareness, the discipline, and the spiritual readiness it requires. Before we go further, there is a resource that can support this transition without noise or pressure. If you feel called to move toward clarity, alignment, and purposeful prosperity, I have prepared something simple and profound. Prosperity revealed in 3 dimensions. It is a guided path designed to help you bring order to the scattered energy of your life, return to your center, and act with spiritual intention and practical wisdom. You can explore it as an e-book for reading or as an audiobook for listening, whatever fits your rhythm right now. Everything is in the pinned comment and in the description. Take the time that feels right. And now, let us return to the heart of what is unfolding on this prophetic day. November 4th is not marked by worldly calendars, but it pulses with spiritual significance. Across traditions, across centuries, certain dates have served as portals, moments when the veil between the seen and the unseen grows thin, when intention carries unusual weight, when decisions made in secret ripple through dimensions we cannot measure. Think of it this way. If your life is a river, most days flow steadily forward, predictable and manageable. But there are days when the current quickens, when hidden rocks surface, when the river bends sharply and demands your full presence. November 4th is one of those bends. Ignore it, and you may drift into turbulence you did not anticipate. Honor it, and you may navigate with grace toward shores you were always meant to reach. What does it mean to honor such a day? It begins with recognition. The world will not pause to announce this moment. Your phone will not alert you. The news will carry no headlines, but your spirit knows. If you have felt restless, if you have sensed urgency without clear cause, if you have been drawn to prayer or silence or stillness more than usual, you are already sensing what is at hand. The invitation is to move from intuition to action, from vague awareness to deliberate posture. This is a day for fasting, not as punishment but as purification. It is a day for retreat from distraction, for silencing voices that clutter your inner space, for creating room so that the whisper of the divine can be heard above the noise. It is a day to guard your thoughts, to police the doors of your mind against fear, doubt, and negativity, and to actively cultivate the presence of faith, hope, and clarity. History offers us patterns. The first Passover was not just a ritual. It was a night when obedience meant survival, when those who heeded the call were spared, and those who dismissed it faced devastation. David was anointed in obscurity, in a moment that seemed insignificant, yet it set the course for a kingdom. Mary said yes to an impossible invitation, and her obedience became the hinge of history. These were not people who possessed perfect understanding. They were people who responded to sacred moments with sacred seriousness. November 4th asks the same of you. Not perfection, but posture. Not flawless execution, but faithful attention. Obedience is the key that turns in the lock of divine protection. God does not force shelter upon us. Shelter is offered and we step into it by choice. When we align our will with divine instruction, when we move as we are led rather than as we are tempted, we activate a covering that no weapon can penetrate, no scheme can unravel. But when we delay, when we rationalize, when we treat sacred guidance as optional, we step outside that covering and expose ourselves, our families, our purpose, our peace, to battles we were never meant to fight. This is not about earning love or approval. Grace is already yours. This is about partnership, about syncing your rhythm with the rhythm of the heavens, so that what is prepared for you can actually reach you. If this is resonating deeply, consider subscribing so you do not miss the next exploration. Your engagement helps others find these truths as well. The enemy of our souls does not rest, and he is especially active on days when spiritual alignment is within reach. He knows that if you position yourself correctly, if you fast and pray and guard your inner world, you will move into dimensions of authority and blessing he cannot touch. So he will send distractions, sudden arguments, unexpected crises, old temptations rising with new intensity. He will whisper that this day is no different, that your focus is overblown, that you can relax your vigilance just this once. Do not believe him. Every distraction is a diversion. Every temptation is an attempt to pull you off course at the exact moment when staying on course matters most. Prayer on such a day cannot be casual. It must be fervent, focused, full of faith. It is not about the length of your sentences or the eloquence of your words. It is about the posture of your heart. Are you coming as a visitor, dropping in for a quick word? Or are you coming as someone who dwells, who abides, who makes the presence of the Most High your permanent address? The psalmist says, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." Dwelling is different from visiting. Dwelling means you do not leave when things get hard. You do not check out when clarity does not come immediately. You remain, you wait, you listen, and in that sacred stubbornness you are covered. Protection is not passive. It requires your participation. You must choose to wear the armor described in Ephesians 6, the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shoes of peace, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit. These are not metaphors for decoration. They are spiritual realities that become active when you intentionally put them on. Truth protects your center. Righteousness guards your heart. Peace steadies your steps. Faith deflects the fiery darts of doubt. Salvation shields your mind. The word becomes your offensive weapon, cutting through lies and confusion. When you are armored, you are not fighting in your own strength. You are standing in the strength of the one who has already won. Here is where the story turns. Your private choices on this day will echo in public ways. What you decide in the quiet of your prayer closet, in the solitude of your fasting, in the discipline of your thoughts, will manifest in outcomes you can see and touch. Jobs may shift, relationships may heal, doors may open, attacks may suddenly cease, health may improve, peace may settle where chaos once reigned. This is not magic, it is the natural outworking of spiritual alignment. When you position yourself correctly, heaven responds. Not because you earned it, but because you cooperated with it. If this brought clarity, leave a like so others can find this message too. Fasting on November 4th is not about deprivation, it is about clarity. When you quiet the demands of the body, the voice of the Spirit becomes audible. Fasting creates space. It breaks the tyranny of routine. It signals to yourself and to the heavens that you are serious, that you are willing to set aside comfort for the sake of something greater. You may fast from food or from media or from noise or from certain conversations. The form matters less than the intention. What matters is that you are choosing deliberately and consciously to create room for the divine to move. Silence is another form of fasting. In a world that never stops talking, silence is rebellion. It is a refusal to be shaped by the noise. It is a decision to let your inner world be formed by something deeper, something truer, something that does not need to shout to be heard. On November 4th, guard your words. Speak less, listen more. Let the space between your thoughts expand. In that expansion, you may hear what you have been missing, the still, small voice that has been calling your name all along. Your relationships on this day also require discernment. Not everyone is meant to walk with you through sacred thresholds. Some people carry energy that drains rather than sustains. Some conversations scatter your focus rather than sharpening it. On November 4th, be intentional about who you allow into your inner circle. Surround yourself, even if only in spirit, with those who lift your faith, who remind you of your calling, who speak life over your future. If physical separation is necessary, create it. If emotional boundaries are required, set them. This is not coldness, it is wisdom. You are stewarding something precious, and you cannot afford to let it be diluted by those who do not understand its value. Turn on notifications so you do not miss what comes next. Each insight builds on the last. What if you fail? What if you slip, stumble, fall short of the intention you set for this day? Grace covers you. Obedience is not about perfection, it is about direction. If you miss a step, you do not abandon the path. You realign, you confess, you reset, you move forward. The spiritual GPS only works for those who keep moving. Standing still in guilt is not humility, it is paralysis. The enemy loves to trap you there, convincing you that because you faltered, you have forfeited the promise. That is a lie. The promise is still yours. The protection is still available. The alignment is still possible. All it requires is a decision. I will not stay down. I will rise. I will return. I will continue. The root of this day's power is not in your performance. It is in your partnership with the divine. You are not manufacturing miracles through willpower. You are positioning yourself so that the miracles already prepared can find you. Think of it like this. A radio does not create the signal. It tunes in to what is already being broadcast. November 4th is a day when the signal is strong, when the frequency is clear, when what has been muffled by static suddenly comes through with startling clarity. Your job is not to generate the message. It is to tune in, to adjust the dial of your attention and intention so that you can receive what is being sent. Research suggests that intentionality, focused, deliberate attention on a specific outcome, can reshape neural pathways, altering how we perceive and respond to the world. When you set a sacred intention on a day like November 4th, you are not engaging in wishful thinking. You are activating real, measurable processes in your brain and body. Your nervous system responds to what you prioritize. Your emotions follow your focus. Your energy aligns with your intention. This is not just spiritual poetry, it is how you are designed. And when spiritual intention and physiological reality align, the results can be profound. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Your act of care could shift someone's entire trajectory, but the spiritual dimension goes deeper than physiology. There are battles being fought that no MRI can map, no lab can measure. There are forces at work that operate beyond the reach of empirical observation. To ignore that dimension is to walk through life blind to half of what is real. The Apostle Paul reminds us that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, rulers of darkness, spiritual forces of wickedness in high places. That is not metaphor, that is diagnosis. The struggles you face are not always what they seem. The obstacles in your path are not always random, and the breakthroughs you need require more than strategy. They require spiritual authority. November 4th is a day to activate that authority. You do this through declaration. Speak over your life, your family, your work, your health, not as wish, but as decree. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I am covered by the blood of the Lamb. I walk in divine favor. My steps are ordered. My mind is guarded. My future is secured. These are not empty words, they are spiritual facts, and when you speak them with faith, they become enforceable realities. Angels are assigned to respond to the word of God, spoken by the mouth of a believer. When you declare truth, you are not convincing God to act. You are aligning yourself with what God has already spoken, and you are releasing heaven's response into your situation. Your comment below helps shape the next message I create. I read everyone, and your voice matters. Why does this day carry such weight? Because it sits at a convergence. November itself is often a month of transition, when the year begins its turn toward closure, when what was planted in earlier seasons either bears fruit or withers. The fourth day of the month, in certain numerological and prophetic traditions, resonates with themes of foundation, structure, and divine order. 4 corners of the earth, 4 seasons, 4 gospels, 4 living creatures before the throne. When you layer these patterns over a moment already charged with spiritual expectancy, you get a day that hums with potential. It is not that God is more present on November 4th than on any other day. God is omnipresent, but our capacity to perceive, to receive, to respond may be heightened, and that heightened capacity is itself a gift to be stewarded. Stewardship is the thread running through all of this. You are not a passive recipient of whatever life brings. You are a steward of time, energy, attention, and opportunity. November 4th is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you treat it like any other day, scrolling, distracted, reactive? Or will you treat it as what it is, a sacred pause, a divine checkpoint, a moment when heaven leans in and asks, "Are you ready?" Your readiness is not measured by your skill or your knowledge. It is measured by your willingness. Are you willing to fast? Are you willing to pray? Are you willing to silence the noise? Are you willing to guard your heart and your mind? Are you willing to declare truth over your life? If the answer is yes, then you are ready. And here is the promise. Those who respond to this call, who honor this day with intention and obedience, will see alignment. Not necessarily in the form they expect, but in the form they need. Doors that were stuck will swing open. Confusion that lingered will lift. Relationships that were strained will soften. Provision that was delayed will arrive. Health that was fragile will stabilize. Peace that was elusive will settle. These are not guarantees of perfection or ease. They are indicators of divine partnership. When you align with heaven's rhythm, heaven aligns with your reality. Consider what happens when a river meets a dam. The water builds, pressure increases, potential energy accumulates. Then the gates open, and all that stored force is released in a rush, generating power, movement, transformation. November 4th is a gate. What has been building in you? Prayers unanswered, dreams deferred, promises delayed, may be on the verge of release. But the gate does not open automatically. It opens in response to obedience, to posture, to alignment. You have a role to play. You are not a victim waiting for rescue. You are a partner being invited into co-creation. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman who felt inexplicably that she needed to fast and pray on a particular day. She did not know why. The day itself seemed ordinary, but the sense was so strong that she honored it. She withdrew from her routine. She spent the day in silence and prayer. She fasted from food and media. That evening, she received a phone call that would have devastated her. News of a betrayal, a financial loss, a relational rupture. But instead of devastation, she felt peace, clarity. She knew exactly what to do, how to respond, where to turn. Later, she would look back and realize the day of prayer had prepared her. It had positioned her spiritually and emotionally so that when the crisis came, she was not overwhelmed. She was anchored. That is what honoring a prophetic day can do. It does not always prevent the storm, but it ensures you have an anchor that holds when the storm hits. If you have not yet subscribed, do it now. These messages are designed to build on one another, creating a map for those willing to walk deeper. November 4th also calls you to intercession. This is not only about your own life. It is about the lives connected to you, your family, your community, your city, your nation. Intercession is standing in the gap, lifting up those who cannot lift themselves, speaking blessing over places marked by chaos. When you intercede, you are partnering with divine mercy. You are saying, not my will alone, but yours. Not my agenda, but your kingdom. Intercession shifts atmospheres. It breaks curses. It releases angels. It opens heaven over places that have been locked down by darkness. Pray for your home. Declare protection, peace, and the presence of God over every room, every threshold, every person who enters. Pray for your children, your spouse, your parents, whether they are physically present or separated by distance. Pray for your workplace, that integrity would rule, that favor would flow, that divine strategies would be revealed. Pray for your leaders, that wisdom would guide their decisions, that corruption would be exposed and righteousness would rise. Pray for the broken, the lost, the addicted, the hopeless, that chains would fall and eyes would open. Your prayers matter more than you know. They are not empty words floating into a void. They are powerful, active, effective forces that shape reality. And as you pray, do so with gratitude. Gratitude is the soil in which faith grows. When you thank God for what He has already done, you position yourself to receive what He is about to do. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from fear to trust, from complaint to confidence. On November 4th, make a list, mentally or on paper, of everything you are grateful for. The breath in your lungs, the roof over your head, the relationships that sustain you, the lessons you have learned, the grace that has carried you. Let gratitude be the soundtrack of your day, the undercurrent beneath every prayer, every declaration, every moment of silence. There is also the matter of rest. Honoring this day does not mean striving. It means trusting. It means doing what you are called to do. Pray, fast, declare, intercede, and then resting in the certainty that God is faithful. Rest is not passivity, it is confidence. It is the posture of someone who knows that the outcome does not depend on their effort alone, but on divine partnership. So after you have prayed, after you have fasted, after you have declared and interceded, release it, let go. Trust that the seeds you have planted are being watered by heaven, and that in due season you will see the harvest. November 4th is not the end. It is a beginning. It is a threshold you cross into a new season. What you establish on this day will ripple forward. The alignment you step into, the obedience you practice, the prayers you lift, they set a trajectory. They create momentum. They open doors that remain open, not just for a day, but for weeks, months, even years. This is not about a single moment of intensity. It is about a recalibration that resets your course and positions you for sustained breakthrough. Before we close, let me ask you, what is the one thing you know you are being called to do on November 4th? Not what you think you should do, not what someone else told you, but what you know in your spirit. Maybe it is a fast. Maybe it is a conversation you need to have or avoid. Maybe it is a declaration you need to speak. Maybe it is time alone, away from everyone and everything. Maybe it is an act of generosity, a step of obedience, a release of something you have been clinging to. Whatever it is, do not ignore it. That inner knowing is not random. It is divine instruction, custom-tailored for you, given because you are ready to hear it and act on it. And as you move into this day, remember, you are not alone. There is a company of chosen ones scattered across the globe who are also responding to this call. You may not see them, but you are connected to them in the Spirit. Together, you form a network of light, a web of intercession, a force of alignment that shifts the atmosphere over cities, nations, and the earth itself. Your obedience strengthens theirs. Their prayers support yours. This is the body of Christ in action, diverse, dispersed, yet unified by the Spirit and the call. If this message has stirred something in you, share it. Forward it to someone who needs to hear it. Post it where others can find it. Your act of sharing may be the very thing that reaches someone on the edge of breakthrough, someone who was about to give up, someone who needed one more sign that they are not crazy, that their sensitivity to the spiritual is not weakness, but gift. Let me close with a prayer. If you are willing, pray this with me, aloud or in your heart. Father, I come before you with reverence and expectation. I recognize that November 4th is not just another day. It is a threshold, a portal, a moment charged with divine purpose. I choose to honor it. I choose to fast, to pray, to silence the noise, to guard my heart and mind. I declare that no weapon formed against me will prosper, that every scheme of the enemy is exposed and defeated, that every door you want open will open, and every door you want closed will close. I stand in the authority you have given me as your child. I cover my family, my home, my work, my purpose with the blood of Jesus. I invite your presence to fill every space in my life. I submit my will to yours, my plans to your purpose, my timing to your perfect order. I thank you for grace, for mercy, for protection, for provision. I thank you for positioning me for breakthrough. I trust you with what I cannot see. I rest in your faithfulness. And I declare that this day, and every day that follows, I will walk in alignment with heaven, in partnership with your Spirit, and in the fullness of the calling you have placed on my life. Amen. So what now? November 4th is coming. You have been given the map. You have been given the invitation. You have been given the promise. The question is not whether the day is significant. It is. The question is whether you will meet it with the awareness, the discipline, the spiritual readiness it requires. Will you fast? Will you pray? Will you silence the distractions? Will you guard your heart? Will you declare truth? Will you intercede? Will you trust? The choice is yours. And the outcome, though dependent on divine partnership, is shaped by your participation. You are not a passive observer in your own life. You are a co-creator with the divine. And this day, November 4th, is your canvas. What will you paint? What will you build? What will you release? What will you receive? The clock is ticking. The spiritual realm is watching. Angels are ready. The heavens are aligned. All that remains is your response. Are you ready? As days like November 4th become pivotal moments of transformation when awareness meets action. It's a call to harness inner discipline, to become the calm within the storm, and to embrace the power of spiritual sovereignty. This day challenges you not just to recognize external realities, but to master your internal landscape, your thoughts, emotions, and intentions. It invites you to step beyond reactive living into proactive stewardship. As the hours tick closer, imagine yourself as a guardian of sacred time, protecting the threshold with prayer, fasting, and focused meditation. This process is more than ritual. It's an active engagement with divine order. Imagine a vast cosmic clock, each gear turning in perfect harmony, each moment calibrated for impact. Your response on November 4th unlocks your role within that clockwork, enabling energies aligned with truth and protection to flow through you. You are no longer a passive observer. You become a living conduit for grace and clarity. This shift transcends fear and doubt, rooting you firmly in faith that is both practical and profound. The challenge you face is universal yet deeply personal. While the world rushes forward in distraction, you have the opportunity to pause and recalibrate. This pause is rich with possibility, a fertile ground where seeds of resilience, wisdom, and grace can take root. Consider this a sacred invitation to govern your thoughts like a wise ruler governs a kingdom, to choose peace over panic, courage over complacency. The spiritual battle is not always dramatic or visible. Often it is the quiet strength of persistence that brings victory. In honoring this prophetic day, you foster a protective atmosphere that extends far beyond yourself. Families experience shifts toward harmony, workplaces find unexpected solutions, and communities feel a subtle yet undeniable uplift. It is as if the very fabric of reality is woven tighter around those who respond faithfully, creating a sanctuary of spiritual resilience. Such alignment does not guarantee absence of trials, but promises presence of endurance and peace amidst them. Remember that your spiritual practices are not isolated acts, but threads in a vast tapestry of collective